They tried to get rid of the Navajos. Genocide is what they call it.
Carl Jung, he said no one in Europe understands religion at all compared to these people. Because these people live it. It's not like Sunday church. They live it from morning to night. From summer to winter. Every day, every moment.
The public broadcasting systems, they talked about some of our Navajo creation stories as a myth, and as not only a myth, but as a silly myth. There's a lot of our culture and understanding and the way that we live that is difficult to explain in that way.
My elders, my grandfathers believed the emergence from the earth. So we're considered the children of Mother Earth and the children of Father Sky. So trying to be one with nature in that way and respecting nature.
There's a lot of taboo with death. They say that Navajos aren't supposed to bother the dead. You know, when a person's dead, you're supposed to get rid of all their belongings. You're supposed to destroy their house. You're not supposed to speak about them. You're not supposed to have photos of them. Things like that.
When I did live on the reservation, I was forbidden to speak the Navajo language for fear that I would speak with an accent that would make me disadvantaged, because then I would seem uneducated. So for the kids that are growing up today, the interest in their native language isn't there. In fact, some of them are ashamed to speak the Navajo language. It's it's part of the reservation. It's part of poverty. It's a part of life that they don't want to be a part of. Something's happened since the signing of the treaty for us in 1868. We once were a free people. Since that time, life's changed for us.
You know, they tried to get rid of the Navajos. Genocide is what they call it. They tried to get rid of the Indians because the Indians were in the way of progress. So the cavalry came in, they had Indian wars, they marched all the Indians out. They took them to a fort where a lot of them died from hunger, disease, neglect, whatever it was. Well, when they were allowed to come back to the reservation, they were brought back to poverty. They were given alcohol. You know, they learned how to use alcohol. The highest gang activity, assaults, domestic violence, alcoholism, sexual abuse, child molestation, child abandonment, property damages, graffiti, drug activity, bootlegging activity, stolen vehicles. This is where it happens, in these houses. And that's why we call them the ghetto. Because these people are poor people. These are ghetto people. They're into gas, paint, sniffing, vapor abuse. You see, all these cans have a hole in it. See them? They all have a hole. And this is what they also drink too, is mouthwash. Let's get some high also. Mouthwash, hairspray. I've had guys that have died from drinking gasoline, and they even drink antifreeze. They're so desperate for a high.
Your life expectancy on one of these oceans is not very long once you start drinking it. They're saying about 6 years.
The strange thing is, all of these people are intelligent. Most of them are caring. Most of them try hard. So you ask, well, why do they have such a destructive behavior? I mean, that's the $1,000 question.
So there's many different ceremonies that we use here, and one of the most popular and effective ceremony we have is the sweat lodge ceremony. And then we have the talking circle ceremony. And then we have the minor mountain tobacco, which is a herbal tobacco.
A Navajo medicine man is like an individual that has a degree, and as a religious professor, as a medical person, as a psychiatrist, and as a person of art, because all of those things, to us, there's no way to separate that.
We weren't even given civil rights until the 60s. But yet we have Navajo code talkers from World War II. We have veterans from World War I, Korea War, Vietnam War, Desert Storm. And those people died not for the United States. They died for their people in their home. That's what they died for.
What I've always been told is, get your education, go to school, get your education, go to college, get your degree, come back and help your people. A lot of people have done that. They've gone out and gotten their degrees in different things. They've tried to come back and help their people. There's no programs for them. They get turned down. They say, no, we don't want you. We don't want you here. And a lot of young people just get turned off on it. And then they go off the reservation and they live out there in the big cities.
Degrees at the house, but can't really use it around here because the computers that they taught us in the city, it's like here in the town in Chinle, it's sort of outdated.
This is Bash's store, but probably the only chain of big supermarkets on the reservation that's owned by Eddie Bash's, and he's from Phoenix, and they sell meats, produce, dry goods, just about everything that can supply a Navajo household, and he's basically getting rich off the Navajos because a lot of his products are outdated, secondhand, overpriced.
The problem that you have out here, the Navajo reservation itself, it's United States government property. The people can't own the land, and therefore, they can't improve the land that you can't own. They know that at any time the United States government can come in and take the land away.
Our reservation boundaries stop 2 feet from the water line, which means that none of that water is ours. The water's being sold down to, I think, California and Las Vegas. So they bought the water, it doesn't belong to us, we can't irrigate.
The land's got minerals, it's got coals, it's got natural resources. And the government knows, the federal government knows that at any time in a national crisis, they can come and take that reservation back from the people.
The U.S. government just wants the resource that's under the ground, and most of that resource is like uranium.
Our water, sometimes we really don't know what we're drinking.
This uranium really did some damage to our land.
The uranium mine, at least about 10 of them around here in this area, and also kind of go way out in the mesa, there's some more. And I think about 2 of them around Old Jito area that's about west by that site. That's about 2 uranium mine hasn't covered up.
A lot of those people, even the children, are affected, and they're trying to do something about it. I guess a lot of them had been affected by radiation, and had mostly lung diseases, and then some even had cancer.
I know every back group. Yeah, that's the open mine right there. So
we're never informed about what this uranium can do to our health until it was too late, Now people are just dying.
And my father says to be good to the Indian people and help them out whenever you could, because they're blessed and they will bless you.
That's pretty much another story.
That you're not going to find in the history books.
And thank you.
That's a Navajo with the blues. He walks to the door. Well, I'm just